Namaste and a very warm welcome to the Bookie on the Goa Chronicle YouTube channel. Today we have on our show Anurag Tripathi. Hello, Anurag.
Hello, Sonakshi. Pleasure to be here.
Who, with his latest release, The Goa Gambit, takes us into a high stakes world of Goa's dazzling casinos where politicians, celebrities, and dreamers chase quick fortunes. The plot masterfully blends suspense, mystery, and a bit of romance, ensuring a thrilling reading experience from the start to the very end. Anurag is an alumnus of the Indian School of Business with a course in advanced creative writing from the University of Oxford Department for Continuing Education and a masterclass in screenwriting from Aaron Sorkin. He lives in Singapore along with his wife and their fur baby. Coming to the Goa Gambit, Anurag, the first question which I would like to ask you is that the background of the glamorous world of the casinos in Goa is quite a novel idea for a storyline, right? So, what made you come up with the same?
So, Sonakshi, I was traveling to Goa back in 2016, and I had a fellow traveler sitting next to me who was carrying a man purse and not much luggage on him. And I got talking to him out of curiosity, and he told me that he was a compulsive gambler at Goa, and he was basically visiting the casinos. In fact, he had been to the casino 15 times that year. And in the man purse, he opened up and he showed me 2 lakh rupees, which is what he was supposed to play on that weekend in Goa. The casino, I think, had provided his plane tickets. His hotel was taken care of because he was a kind of a high roller. And when I started discussing more about his background, I found out that he belonged to a village on the suburbs of Delhi NCR. He was actually a farmer who had sold his land to a real estate developer and had come in the money. And these casino agents had arrived at the village 5, 6 months after all the villagers had, sold their land. And then they had taken the village influencers to Goa to show them the casino world. When these influencers came back to the village, they, spoke about their conquest in Goa. And this influenced other villagers to then accompany them. So on that day in my flight, he told me that there were 40 people from his village who were accompanying him to the casino. And then he told me the most fascinating story about, booze, gambling, and sex in the casino world. So it got me hooked on. And from there, this idea was born. So when I actually went to Goa, then I started visiting the casinos to see if this story was true. And I actually found that there were a large number, probably 25-30% of the people on the casino floor from the hinterland of India, most of them farmers, like this person who was sitting next to me. So this is how this story idea was born. And then this was 2016. I used the next 2.5 years. I visited a lot of casinos across the world to build upon this story and this idea. So this is how Goa Gambit was born, because of that chance meeting in a play to Goa.
Wow, that's quite an interesting story. So, secondly, you are somebody who draws from the reservoir of your own life experiences. So, does the Goa Gambit offer a peek into your own experience of Goa's gambling scene?
So it is more than Goa's gambling scene. I have visited a large number of casinos across the world, from Vegas to Monaco, Cairo, uh, in India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and also in Singapore, where I live now. And the ideas and the characters that you find are fictionalized versions of people that I have met in these casinos across the world, not necessarily only in Goa. And that's the reason the Goa Gambit has two international characters as well. A lady boy from Thailand, and there's another character from Singapore. Uh, uh, so it's not only Goa's gambling scene, though yes, I have been to the casinos in Goa also several times. And someone known to me very closely was a regular high roller in Goa casinos. So a lot of stories that I heard from him have also found their way into this novel. Actually, it's helped to build the characters in this novel better. So, partly self experience, partly researched, and partly stories from other people that I've heard. It's all been put together to make up the story.
So, how would you describe the seedy underbelly of not only Goa's but obviously across the world's gambling milieu?
So, CD underbelly, I mean, the thing is that casinos, there was a time when casinos were seen as a taboo. Gambling per se was seen as a taboo. This was like 30, 40 years back. If you went to a casino, it was not something that you would advertise to your friends or family. That was something that you do. And it was predominantly a male bastion when you went to a casino. I think that has changed significantly. I have tried to pick some of the bits from the old times. I don't think they are very true for today's casinos in the sense that today's casinos double up as entertainment destinations. If you go to a casino today, you will find a fair mix of women and men. It's not a male bastion anymore. It's not a gambling den. It's an entertainment destination. Almost 96% people who go to casinos today are social gamblers. They go there to have a good time. They don't necessarily go there from the objective of making serious money. Obviously, we all like to win, but if you ask to most of them, it would be that I have set aside a small sum of money. I'm going to go in the evening to the casino today, and he's actually it's part of his Goa trip as an entertainment, as a nightlife, destination, not necessarily as a gambling den when he's going there. So from that perspective, I think things have changed a lot. It also attracts people who are much younger now because it's an entertainment destination. So the Siri underbelly part of it, I mean, any place which attracts 10 million tourists like Goa does, there will always be an underbelly, in the sense there will be a nightlife. If there's a nightlife, then there will be alcohol, there will be prostitution, there will be, maybe there'll be some amount of drugs. But that is an issue that plagues every large city which attracts tourism. It's not something specific to Goa or something specific to the gambling scene in Goa or the casinos in Goa. Maybe the casinos get labeled because it's easy to label them, because these things make easy media articles, so to speak of. So, as I mentioned in the novel also, that they are the whipping boys for anything wrong that happens in the city. So it's there, but this is something. And the other thing is that I think casinos are no longer a taboo in our society. They are part of the mainstream society now. I mean, if I go to a casino, I go to a casino with my wife, and likewise our friend circle. Like it's one big chunk who would go there. It's no longer as it used to be earlier that most of the time it was the men who went there. So yeah, times have changed, and to that extent, uh, nothing specific as far as Goa underbelly is concerned. I think it is more a function of a city, a state which attracts such a large number of tourists, and it needs to have a nightlife. And wherever there is an active nightlife, these things are a part of it.
That's true. So, as the Goa Gambit is your third novel, I would also love you to walk us through your journey of being a writer. And as you've always chosen themes for your books, which are, far from the usual ones. So, do throw some light on the first two books of yours as well.
Yeah. So I wrote Kalayug was my first novel, which was a thriller on the art market in India. Um, it's an act in 1970s under the Indira Gandhi government. Uh, they identified 9 artists as the Navratans in India, and as a result, the government ensured that the paintings of these artists were not allowed to be exported. They couldn't leave India. So what happened was that this was a time when contemporary artists were coming up, and these artists had access to global capital. But these 9 artists lost out because they could not access the global auction houses because of the limitations placed by the government. As a result, there was a pricing mismatch between these 9 artists and the others. So my novel Kalayug is based on an ex-investment banker who sees this mispricing as an opportunity and then goes on to rig this market to basically take these nine artists, the paintings of these nine artists to new highs. That's the basic premise of this novel. It also deals with greed and it deals with the art market. It's very interesting. The art market is an unregulated market across the world. There's no regulator in the art market. So it's susceptible to rigging very easily, unlike the stock market where you have SEBI as a regulator, etc., to protect the investors. So this was my first novel, and I knew nothing about art when I wrote it. So I had to research a lot about art, and then I picked up this topic as an idea, and then created a thriller on that. This novel was um, nominated for the Raymond Crossword Book Awards in 2017, Kalayu. Then my second novel, The Last Street, was actually based on my own experience. I used to head the retail equity business of a broking house in India, wherein I had a large number of relationship managers as a part of my organization. And these people used to go and service clients and manage their money, basically suggest them ideas to trade. So I have seen that world very closely. And The Last Street is basically a story about four friends who pass out from a business school and are picked up by one of these sweat houses, broking houses, which basically then it's a pure sales job. They pressurize them to go and generate income for the broking house. And how these four friends go and open accounts of their family and friends. Those are the first people you run to when you are under pressure. And then they lose money for all of them because they were not trained to actually advise people on money, and how basically they are corrupted by the system. They come as innocent. They have a lot of remorse when they lose money, but slowly they get used to it because they realize that retail investors across the world, are basically given a raw hand. If it wasn't for them, somebody else would have done it. But at least the family and friends, the accounts ensured that they survived in the system for whatever period they did. So it is a story of four friends who are very close to start with, and then how they become competitive within that environment. So interplay of human relations within a high pressure job environment in the broking industry, in the stock markets. That's what The Last Street is about. And the third one, we already discussing Goa's Gambit. It takes it to the next level, basically, on the casino industry. So, in terms of my own profile as a writer, I think the complexity of the plots has gone up significantly from the first novel to the third novel. They are all thrillers, but also the number of characters. Uh, I mean, Kalayu had four characters. The Last Street had six. Goa Gambit has a dozen characters. So as you have more characters and more fleshed out characters, highly motivated characters, um, the complexity increases, and that's what you find in the Goa Gambit. It's more complex than any of the earlier books that I have written. Also, the stakes have been raised in the Goa Gambit. The earlier two novels were predominantly commercial fiction. They dealt with money. It was greed all the way. Goa Gambit is also about greed, but it is also about human life. So, in that sense, the stakes have been raised. Because I think if you're writing a thriller, then uh, the ultimate is survival. The thrill, the suspense that you can create with that, when that is at stake, is much higher than money can. So, yeah, so I made it attempt towards that in the Goa Gambit.
So this means that you keep upping the ante with every release of yours, right? As far as intricacies are concerned.
Yes, yes, that is the
That's great.
intention.
That's great. Okay. So lastly, I would like to ask you what makes the Goa Gambit a must read for all those people who are thriller enthusiasts out there.
So, I mean, a thriller. So there's suspense, uh, there's mystery, there's love, as you mentioned. But most importantly, I think there are a couple of things which really come out well for this novel. The first is the characters are real. I mean, they're not real people, but they are really well fleshed out. There's a lot of research which has gone into creating those characters. And Goa and specifically the casino world gave me an opportunity to evaluate people from all walks of life. They're very interesting characters from different walks of life. And you find them all on one night coming together, their character arcs intermingling with each other on the casino floor. These are highly motivated characters, knives drawn. So there's a lot of suspense, and obviously there's a lot of intrigue. And my style of writing is that I write very small chapters and I interspread each chapter will create a sense of curiosity, mystery towards the end. Now you want to then find out what happened next, but the next chapter brings in another character. So you have to wait for 5, 6 chapters before that curiosity can be fulfilled. That ensures that you basically it's unputdownable. You keep moving the pages as you read the novel, and it's fast paced, high on suspense, great characterization, a great plot. It has a great climax, I feel, and it's actually based on one of the largest heists which were ever committed in the casino industry worldwide. It's a case which is a cold file. It has still not been solved. It was 24 years back on Millennium that somebody walked away with $37 million from a casino and it's still not been sorted out. And this novel basically is inspired from that case in the climax. So that's what I mean, I wouldn't say more, otherwise I'll give you spoilers. So yeah, it's a fast-paced thriller, edge of the seat thriller, great characterization, great plot. I think it's money well spent as compared to what's available in the market. And yeah, I don't think anybody has dealt with the casino world in India. So it also takes you on a bird's eye view of the casino world for both people who have been to the casino and those who have never been to the casino. It's not a novel which was written only for people who understand that world. It is meant also for people who've never been there. This novel will give you the thrill. It will not in any way, prohibit you from enjoying it because you haven't visited a casino before. In terms of age profile, all the way from 18 to 80, there's no age profile in mind. It has enough for everyone. And I think it also deals with mature content. It deals, the casino world is a metaphor for our society at large, which has been evaluated. And what a better place than Goa, because when you have 10 million tourists coming from each and every geography in India, from each and every kind of background, and a subset of that lands up at the casino. So it gives me a very wide canvas to play on that casino floor and evaluate people from different specs within that environment. How are they motivated? Their actions, their behaviors to different stimulus. So it was very exciting for me. And I think I've just tried to bring it out, create that world and bring it out for the reader. So that's why I think it's money well spent.
Wow, that's great. The Goa Gambit is surely a page turner, if you will. Okay, so this was all from my side today. Thank you so much, Anurag, for speaking with us. It was genuinely a wonderful discussion that we had. And also, thank you, my viewers. Keep watching The Bookie on the Goa Chronicle YouTube channel. And if you are somebody who craves a thrilling reading experience, then The Goa Gambit by Anurag, of course, is your next read. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonakshi. It was a pleasure being on the show.